Welcome to day 1502 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with a giant stress ball. My daughter just bought a giant stress ball to play with her daughter for the fun of it. She actually taught me this when she was a manager of a Burton store. She bought a giant stress ball for her team, and they used it as a team building and communication tool, which I thought was brilliant. I've been in organizations where they use props and tools like that for improving communication and improving teamwork. ClickFunnels uses this giant microphone. It's like a big soft giant dice, like giant dice you'd see, but like this big. And they throw that around to communicate to one another so we can all hear each other and get it. Usually, I'm sure they do it for good recording purposes, but it was a great tool for communicating and hearing one another when we were in trainings at corporate headquarters before. So I've seen other things like that in different corporations, different environments, but it's fun when you have big fun things that who's ever holding the medicine stick or the giant stick or the peace pipe or something gets to talk. It encourages listening. It encourages participation. It encourages people from talking or having side conversations, or discourages side conversations and things, which is always good. So today, 1502 of what am I doing as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of businesses to the online world, and in 2020 and beyond, back and forth. I've got my fingers in all kinds of pies, but in both online and offline world for personal reasons. And sometimes I share those, sometimes I don't. Not necessary today. So today I'm thinking about the idiom and the expression for supersize your business, which was to give someone a piece of your mind. And normally when you're giving somebody a piece of your mind, you're angrily criticizing them for something you think that they've done wrong, or you're giving them feedback in a very angry and not necessarily positive way. Now I give people a piece of my mind, not in that way, but a piece of my mind every day in terms of sharing information, knowledge, experiences that I've had in business and in life via just little videos like this. And I think that's a much better way of giving someone a piece of your mind than the definition according to the internet and all kinds of different sources on the internet. I'm trying to find the etymology and where this idiom and other idioms with the word mind in them came from has been a challenge. And I'm focusing on mental well-being this month, so a lot of the idioms have the word mind in them, but most of them have little or no cool, fun history. And I really get a kick out of the history. It helps me to remember the idiom if I understand and knew the background for it. So some of these are interesting and a challenge. But for me, this one is good because I got to share my daughter's giant stress ball strategy and a story about corporate life, about a person I traveled with that would blame other people for their mistakes and give them a piece of their mind in a way that was very uncomfortable for anyone else around, including me. And then I talked a little bit about feedback and how you give people feedback. My dad taught me when I was a little girl, praise in public, criticize, coach, train, chastise, whatever you want to call it, counsel in private. I guess treat people the way you'd want to be treated and you expect to be treated, and you'll probably not go wrong, unless of course you're a bully and a meanie, and then chances are you will go wrong. But when it comes to feedback, before I give feedback, and for a long time I've been this way, I found that the best question to ask myself to decide whether I should give that feedback or not is the feedback, is the message, is the information I want to convey, is it for that person? Is it for their benefit? Or is it for me to just get something off my chest? Or is it for me to feel better? If it's just for me to feel better and get it off my chest, I will not give that feedback these days. Back in corporate America, when it was part of my job, I would always give the feedback because that was my job. It was my job to coach and develop and train the people that report to me. It's still my job today to give people feedback, but I always make sure that I'm presenting it in a way that's for their benefit and not for my benefit. We all get stressed out, thus the giant stress ball, and need to find ways to get things off our chest, but we certainly don't need to take them out on other people, ever, 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 ever. Been in relationships where I have been the butt end of another person's stress and frustration, and it's not very fun. It's actually not very fun. It's soul-sucking and life-destroying. So is it for them? Is it helpful? Is it important? Is it necessary? Is it true? Is it even true? I remember traveling with a gentleman, I was sharing this corporate story, that we missed our plane. We were late from a business meeting, getting to the airport, returning the rental car, and we missed our flight. And he is screaming and yelling and red in the face at this poor, the attendant at our gate. I'm like, it's got nothing to do with her. Let's go to the ticket counter and get a new ticket, or let's get on a different flight. It was Chicago to Minneapolis, which is, there's a flight like every hour. There's probably several every hour. At least there were back then. So, number one, it wasn't her fault. So was he giving her feedback for her benefit? No, he was actually berating her and yelling and screaming at her just to get the stress and the frustration out of himself. And that's never a way to behave, right? There's a lot healthier ways to deal with our stress, to deal with our frustration, to deal with our feelings than putting them on other people, because other people can't feel our feelings for us. Only we can. So today it's Friday. It's wrap up the week day for me. I totally already changed my morning routine, hung out with my granddaughter for a couple hours this morning, which is always fun. Who doesn't want to read 25 little kid books and then get her back to sleep for a couple hours? It's always very fun. We're practicing for when her parents go to Arizona. They're going to Alaska for 10 days this early summer. So I'm excited about that because I get to hang out with her. And she and I bond. It's so fun to bond with the grandkids. It's such a different feeling than when you're raising your own kids. There's so much stress and so much pressure and so much tension when you're raising your kids, and there's no manual. You feel like you're doing everything wrong. But with your grandkids, you've done it before. You raised their parents or their parent, at least one of their parents, and you didn't mess that up too bad. You might have messed it up. We all mess everything up along the way, but they survived. Therefore, we have the confidence that we can help our grandchildren survive, and we get to return them to their parents after X amount of time. And so it just takes the pressure out of it. So you get all the joy of enjoying little human beings and none of the stress and the pressure that goes along with raising little human beings and being 100% responsible for them. So if I can help you in any way, ask. I'm doing a couple of projects over the weekend that are just fun passion projects for me. But otherwise, weekends nowadays, just like most of the week, if I'm honest, are about recharging and creating things that I want to create in the world, and having the impact that I want to have. That sounds really selfish, but that's how we all are, right? We all are here to experience this life as only we uniquely can. And so the older I get and the more freedom I have from other responsibilities and other areas and aspects of my life, the more time and energy I can spend on those type of projects, those fun projects, those things I've always wanted to learn and do, the areas I've always wanted to grow in and been curious about. That's like this whole online experiment for me has been because I was curious about it. And it's really fun and exciting to follow our curiosity and see where it leads us. All right, if I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye. Have a great day.